Some of the biggest names in college football looked like can't-miss superstars on draft day, but not all of them delivered. From players who cost their teams millions to prospects who were out of the league in just a few seasons, these are the top 10 biggest busts in NFL draft history. We're talking jaw-dropping hype, record-breaking contracts, and careers that fizzled almost overnight. And wait until you see number 3. The Packers passed on 3 future Hall of Famers for this guy. Let's dive in. Starting off with number 10, Johnny Manziel, also known as Johnny Football. Drafted 22nd overall in 2014 by the Cleveland Browns, Manziel came into the league with incredible hype. He was a Heisman Trophy winner, a human highlight reel at Texas A&M, and one of the most polarizing prospects ever. But once he hit the NFL, the lifestyle caught up to him. Manziel struggled with preparation, clashed with coaches, and spent more time making headlines off the field than on it. In 2 seasons, he threw just 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions before being released. Fans wanted to believe in Johnny Football, but his lack of work ethic and commitment doomed him from the start. He tried playing in the CFL and other leagues, but never recaptured his college magic. His story is a reminder that talent alone doesn't guarantee NFL success. At number 9, Justin Blackmon. Drafted 5th overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2012, Blackmon was a dominant wide receiver at Oklahoma State. He was supposed to be the next superstar wideout, drawing comparisons to Calvin Johnson, but off-field issues ruined his career almost immediately. Blackmon was suspended multiple times for substance abuse violations and never played a full season. In just 20 career games, he managed 93 receptions for over 1,200 yards, showing flashes of his talent, but his inability to stay on the field sealed his fate. By 2014, he was essentially out of the league. Despite attempts to get reinstated, Blackmon couldn't clear the league's policies. He remains one of the biggest what-could-have-been stories in NFL history. Number 8 is Lawrence Phillips, running back for the St. Louis Rams, drafted 6th overall in 1996. Phillips was incredibly talented, but his off-field issues overshadowed everything else. Despite major red flags in college, the Rams took a gamble, and it backfired. Phillips lasted just 25 games with St. Louis, producing little and creating constant distractions. His career included stints with the Dolphins and 49ers, but his personal problems never stopped. Legal trouble followed him throughout his life, and sadly, his story ended in tragedy. Even teammates and coaches who praised his talent said his personal struggles were insurmountable. Phillips shows the danger of ignoring character concerns when evaluating draft prospects. His raw ability was undeniable, but talent alone isn't enough in the NFL. At number 7, Vernon Gholston. The New York Jets drafted the pass rusher 6th overall in 2008, hoping he would terrorize quarterbacks for years to come. Gholston had freakish athletic ability, size, speed, and strength that wowed scouts, but once he hit the NFL, he disappeared. In 3 seasons with the Jets, Gholston never recorded a single sack. That's right, 0. For a top 10 pick, especially a defensive end, that's almost unheard of. He finished his career with just 42 tackles before being released. Out of the NFL by age 24, Gholston is remembered as one of the Jets' biggest mistakes and a prime example of how physical tools don't always translate into on-field production. The Jets cycled through multiple coaches and schemes trying to get him going, but nothing worked. Even after brief stints with the Bears and Rams, he never played another regular season snap. Number 6, Tim Couch, the 1st overall pick in 1999 and the face of the Cleveland Browns' return as an expansion franchise. Couch was thrown into one of the worst situations possible. With no offensive line, limited weapons, and a new organization still finding its footing, he had little chance to succeed. While he did show toughness, taking hit after hit, his development stalled. Over 5 seasons, Couch threw 64 touchdowns and 67 interceptions with a passer rating under 75. Injuries also took their toll, and by 2004, his career was over. Some argue Couch wasn't truly a bust because he was set up to fail, but when you're the number 1 overall pick and can't deliver, the label sticks. He made a few attempts to catch on with other teams, including the Packers and Jaguars, but never saw significant playing time again. His story is less about talent and more about how a franchise can ruin a quarterback by not surrounding him with the right support. At number 5, Trent Richardson. Coming out of Alabama in 2012, Richardson was one of the most hyped running back prospects in decades. The Cleveland Browns took him with the 3rd overall pick, expecting a workhorse back to carry their offense. Instead, they got inconsistency and mediocrity. Richardson showed flashes early on, but quickly became known for poor vision and an inability to hit holes. He averaged just 3.3 yards per carry over his NFL career. In a rare move, the Browns traded him to the Indianapolis Colts for a first-round pick. At first, it seemed like Cleveland pulled off a heist, but Richardson struggled in Indy too, putting up some of the worst efficiency numbers in league history. He bounced around practice squads and even tried the CFL, but couldn't resurrect his career. Within just a few years, he was out of the NFL entirely. For a top 3 pick and a player many thought was a guaranteed star, Richardson's downfall was shocking. Next on the list, Charles Rogers. Drafted number 2 overall in 2003 by the Detroit Lions, Rogers was a superstar at Michigan State, with speed, size, and highlight reel ability. He looked like a surefire NFL star, but his career never took off. In his rookie season, Rogers broke his collarbone, and the following year, he broke it again. The injuries piled up, and so did the off-field issues. Rogers struggled with substance abuse and never returned to form. In just 3 seasons, he managed only 36 receptions for 440 yards and 4 touchdowns. For a number 2 overall pick, that's beyond disappointing. Rogers became part of Detroit's infamous string of first-round wide receiver failures, a run that included busts like Mike Williams and Roy Williams. Despite attempts at a comeback, Rogers was unable to stay healthy or disciplined enough to earn another shot in the league. While his story is also one of bad luck with injuries, Charles Rogers is still remembered as one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history. At number 3, we've got Tony Mandarich, forever known as the Incredible Bust. Drafted 2nd overall by the Green Bay Packers in 1989, Mandarich was supposed to be the greatest offensive line prospect ever. He was massive, freakishly strong, and hyped as a can't-miss pick. But the problem wasn't just that he failed, it's who the Packers passed on. Right after Mandarich, 3 future Hall of Famers were selected: Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, and Deion Sanders. Mandarich never lived up to expectations in Green Bay. He was criticized for poor work habits, clashed with teammates, and didn't deliver on the field. Though he made a short comeback with the Colts years later, the damage was done. Rumors about steroid use and a lack of dedication further tarnished his image. The Packers had a chance to draft legends, but instead they got Mandarich, a player who symbolizes missed opportunity and the dangers of falling for hype. At number 2, Ryan Leaf. In 1998, the NFL draft came down to 2 quarterbacks, Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. Some scouts even thought Leaf had the higher ceiling. The Indianapolis Colts wisely chose Manning at number 1, leaving Leaf to the San Diego Chargers at number 2. What followed was one of the biggest disasters in NFL history. Leaf was talented but immature, combative with the media, and unprepared for the pro level. In his short career, he threw 36 interceptions compared to just 14 touchdowns. His record as a starter? 4 wins, 17 losses. He constantly clashed with teammates and coaches, and his lack of accountability sunk his career almost overnight. Off the field, Leaf also struggled, facing injuries and suspensions before eventually leaving football entirely. While Peyton Manning became a 2-time Super Bowl champion and one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, Ryan Leaf became the face of wasted potential. For years, he was the standard against which all draft busts were measured. We end with the undisputed number 1 draft bust, Jamarcus Russell. In 2007, the Oakland Raiders took him with the top overall pick. He had a cannon for an arm and was supposed to be the savior of the franchise. Instead, he became a punchline. Russell signed a massive 6-year, $68 million contract with over $30 million guaranteed. But from day one, the red flags were there. He showed up to camp overweight, struggled to learn the playbook, and had little work ethic. Coaches even tested him by giving him blank tapes to watch. He came back claiming he studied the plays. In just 3 seasons, Russell went 7-18 as a starter, throwing 18 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. He was out of the league by age 25. Even after his release, Russell tried multiple comebacks, but never caught on anywhere. With all the money invested and zero return, Jamarcus Russell isn't just a bust, he's the definition of one. Before we wrap up, let's talk about some honorable mentions. Players who just missed our top 10 but deserve recognition for their spectacular failures. Akili Smith, quarterback, Cincinnati Bengals, 1999, number 3 overall. The third quarterback taken in that loaded 1999 draft class. Smith threw just 5 touchdowns against 13 interceptions in his career and was out of the league by 2002. Dion Jordan, DE, Miami Dolphins, 2013, number 3 overall. Another athletic freak who couldn't translate combine numbers into NFL success. Multiple suspensions for substance abuse derailed what little career he had. David Carr, quarterback, Houston Texans, 2002, number 1 overall. The first pick in Texans franchise history was supposed to be their cornerstone quarterback. Instead, Carr was sacked 249 times in 5 seasons with Houston, developing happy feet and never recovering from the constant pressure. Kijana Carter, RB, Cincinnati Bengals, 1995, number 1 overall. Carter was the consensus top pick after a dominant Penn State career, but tore his ACL in his first preseason game. Injuries plagued his entire career, and he never lived up to his potential as a franchise-changing running back. Matt Leinart, quarterback, Arizona Cardinals, 2006, number 10 overall. The USC Golden Boy won 2 national championships in college but couldn't handle NFL defenses. His lack of arm strength and decision-making led to a quick exit from Arizona and a career as a backup.
And there you have it, the top 10 biggest busts in NFL draft history. From Jamarcus Russell to Johnny Manziel, these stories prove that no matter how much hype surrounds a prospect, success in the NFL is never guaranteed. Which of these draft busts do you think was the biggest of all time? Did we miss someone who deserves a spot on this list? Drop your thoughts down below. I love reading your takes. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more deep dives into NFL history and draft stories, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And stay tuned. Next week, we're breaking down the top 10 steals in NFL draft history. If you'd like to watch some of our previous videos, click the link on screen. Thanks for watching.